hand of God. I'm gonna keep the faith. I'm gonna hold this banner high. I'm gonna finish my race. I'll receive hidden manna and a new white stone when I win this war. I've got a church and a family.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Define the Dash podcast. We thank you so much for tuning in with us, and great news, everybody. Brother Mark Mullins is in the house.
In the house.
Yeah, the Raise the Roof.
Ooh.
And sorry, don't mean to sound too carnal there, but we are a bit excited to be back together.
Mm-hmm.
The band is back.
Love it.
So we are excited for this time of fellowship, and we are happy to be with you. Thank you so much for tuning in, for tagging along with us, your faithfulness along this journey that we call a podcast. This potluck of podcasts where everybody brings something just a little bit different to the table, and we all try to sit down and munch on it and make something good out of it.
And tonight we are bringing some M&Ms to the table.
Oh, yes.
I'm eating an M&M as we
God
speak.
bless M&Ms.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord, for those.
Go
And
ahead.
so, and also, Mark Mullins Wellness Mints.
Oh, I love it.
The moments that count.
Yes.
And so, when thinking of all the folks that followed us this far, Brother Mark, I can't help but smile.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have been so wonderful, and thank you for that. Now, in only the Defining the Dash fashion, we are late as always. And so we wanted to reflect back on Mother's Day, do a little bit of a late Mother's Day episode, and talk a little bit about our mothers and the ladies that have really made a difference in our lives, and try to show them some honor and appreciation. I think that would be wise, don't you, Brother Mark?
I think so. I think it's better late than never.
Better late than never, which does remind me, Mom, your gift is coming. So
There's always next Mother's Day too. So if it's a little delay, just plan out for next year.
I was kind of out of town.
She'll love you anyway.
And then nailed a deer and everything on my way back into town, and so like her gift kind of got delayed.
Oh.
I mean, I could have gave her some deer jerky. Probably it would have definitely been tenderized. I got to say this. I loved it. I don't mean to be carnal. We nailed this deer. My wife nailed this deer. I was in the car following her. I almost nailed their vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But they hit this deer, and we were in West Virginia, back in your home country.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just whipped off the road, got off the road to somewhat safety. And this guy from the road crew that like goes along and picks up dead animals and everything, he whips in behind us and he's like, "Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay?" And we haven't even really got to look at the damages yet. And before we can really even make it out of the vehicle and to the front of the vehicle, we hear thump, and we turn around and this dude just like nailed that deer. I mean, just nailed it. We're still on the road.
Can you make that noise again?
And so, and
awesome.
I didn't think I'd be able to do it again.
That was awesome.
But so he gets out, and man, I'm telling you, this guy he tickled my heart because he was so funny. He actually looked like just a real serious guy, and he was a serious guy. When he said it, he was serious, but I couldn't help but keep from laughing. And again, I know this is referencing the TV show, and I'm not trying to be carnal, but he told that guy, he's like, "Yeah, I was just like coming along, and that deer was in the road, and man, I just like hit that thing and Dukes of Hazzarded it right over." I was like, man, that is like cool. I did not expect to hear that tonight. He's like, "I just Dukes of Hazzarded it right over that thing," like he was jumping a river or something.
Oh, I love it, man.
And it was great. He's like, I believe it did a little damage underneath my car. And I'm like, I'm in West Virginia.
And Kentucky. Some parts of Kentucky.
Yeah, you would think. But I was like, this is great. But he was a nice guy. Nobody was hurt. Of course, our vehicle and his vehicle did get some damages to it, and we did all file police reports and got to meet 3 very nice officers and things. And West Virginia crew are great.
Oh, yeah.
They were great officers. God bless them. God keep them safe, and thank them for their service. They were great folks.
Did you offer them donuts? for coffee?
Did not,
Okay.
but we didn't have any, and I was just worried about my headlight staying in.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this comment. Of course, it tore a lot of things up on the van. The fender, the bumper, spoiler, grill, headlights busted out. It actually blew a piece off my door, which is unreal. Everything. But anyway, the guy with the road crew that was there, he's like, I got some. I was worried about the headlight falling out on the way home. We still had 2.5 hours, to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I got some tape there in the vehicle. And I was like, well, yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great, man. I appreciate it. And so he comes up there, and it just happens to be white, same color as my van. And so we're taping all that up and everything. And that cop looks over and he goes, man, that don't look bad at all. He's like, you got tape that matches your vehicle? He said, that's West Virginia royalty right there, So awesome. it was great. I mean, these guys was great. And so I was thankful. God really blessed us and kept his hand on us and everything. So it was great. And my wife did everything just right to make the situation not be worse than what it was. So I was really proud of her, and she handled it really well. So it turned out to be a
bump in the road.
That's good, especially for old Dukes of Hazzard over there. Yeah, it was definitely a bump in the road. Things that go bump in the night because it was about 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, so. But anyway, getting back to giving a shout out and try to pay some honor to our mothers. We just wanted to look back at them, and I guess I'll since I'm rambling on anyway, I might as well go ahead and start it out talking about my mother. My mother was always faithful to church, faithful to her family. And I appreciate her. My dad worked full time, and Mom usually stayed home with us, but she would work odd jobs, cleaning houses, working at delis, just different things that she could, to where she would still be able to be available to us. And Dad, he worked full time, and then he a lot of times worked of the evenings, teaching or doing different jobs for people. And then he was a full time evangelist. He was sung with King Mountain Brothers. So there was always somewhere to be. And so Mom would, keep the house and everything of the days. When Dad would get in from work, supper was always ready, clothes was always ironed, ready to go, kids ready to get in the vehicle. We'd be out late at church somewhere almost every night. Schoolwork was always done. I mean, she had a hard job. She really did have a hard job. Kept the yards mowed. I mean, she done it all up until we were the age to help her do those things. And so she always did a fabulous job at all that. She made sure we were cared for. And one of the stories, like I was telling at church Sunday for Mother's Day, you wouldn't believe it now, but I guess, as a young child, around 4 or 5 years old, I was kind of backward. And the night before I started kindergarten, I can remember crying like all night, just being nervous, not wanting to leave home, not wanting to leave Mom, And Mom didn't get mad at me. She didn't send me to my room, tell me to get over it, get in the bed. She didn't lock me in my room. She didn't whip me, Like I said, Sunday morning, that all came later.
No, I can say she probably didn't whip you enough, about my opinion.
Yeah, she didn't whip me that night.
Oh, not that night.
Not that night.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Those did come later. But I can remember sitting in the living room almost all night, or may have been all night, just holding me.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting me cry on her till I fell asleep, and then she just sat there holding me in the living room chair all night. And that it reminded me of the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
Here I was scared, I was uncertain, I was just crying and brokenhearted, and she sat there with her arms just wrapped around me and let me feel safe and loved. And but it just made me think, looking back on it, of the love of God and why God often referenced in the Bible when he's talking about himself, he used the love of a mother as a symbol of his love. And so, shout out to my mom. I love you, Mom, and thank you for everything that you've ever done for me.
Man, it sounds awesome, man. Yeah, it sounds awesome.
I'll let you talk a little bit about your mama now, Mark.
All right. Well, man, you was talking about your mom and mentioned a few things about her faithfulness, and it kind of remind me of my own mother.
Yes,
very very faithful woman. She was faithful to church for several years. Still is.
Yes,
what she can be.
Yes, sir.
Faithful to the family, and but what I loved about mom and still do is mom was faithful to multiple people's families. You know, and what I mean by that is, growing up, we were involved with the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and the 4-H groups and some other community partners, and mom was very very much involved with those kind of things. And kids, from all walks of life, got to share my mom.
Yes,
that was really really awesome.
She worked at the Christian school.
Yeah, she worked at Christian school for a while. Took us to school. Mom had to quit her job. When I was growing up, Dad was disabled. He fell off the ladder at the house and broke a few vertebrae, and unable to work from that point forward. And but they had 5 kids. So.
Right.
You've got a mother that is able to work, that's a nurse, and then you have a father who is disabled. And but what we ran into is that none of the kids could drive.
Right.
And so we wouldn't go to Christian school. And so sometimes Dad would drive some, and sometimes Mom would drive some. But Mom, she quit her job as an RN, or worked very part-time some, to take us to school, to work in the school. And to volunteer, and so over and over again, she shared her life with so many different people, and the selflessness that I was able to see in my own mom's life. I don't know how you can have 5 kids and not be selfless,
right?
Really, but Mom demonstrated that over and over and over again. And where we were sick or having good days or having bad days, mom was always there. And just a mother's love is just incredible. And but just the same arms that held me when I was sick or sad or scared were the same arms that grabbed a belt when I needed a belt.
Oh yes, I'm very familiar with that concept.
Of those stories, man.
Yes, sir.
I've got some of those stories. But growing up, getting older now, if I'm going through something in my life, usually, the same listening ear I had growing up, I just love the opportunity just to call Mom and talk to her, about whatever the case is. It seems like she always has a good insight, and if she don't have a good insight on something, she's got good listening, and she's a praying woman.
Yes, she is.
And so, for all of our mothers out there, thank you for being a solid rock, in all of our lives. And for all of you out there that still have a mother, I would strongly recommend that you appreciate her and let her know that you love her and give her a kiss and, maybe some flowers and,
yes.
And, if you can't get a real flower, at least get a piece of paper out and draw a flower.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pick one out of the yard, and so
your yard, not hers.
Yeah, exactly.
You may still get whipped if you pick one of Mom's roses.
You may get whipped.
Mom, I found this for you.
Oh man, I got a wild story, man. I got a few wild stories, but one in particular I brought up the other morning, and I don't know. I'll be the villain in this because I was obviously the villain, and what I'm talking about. So we was on our going to Christian school, and there at King Mountain, and Mom was I think she was a teacher in school at the time, and I was just trying to pass a math test,
right?
And I think it was an algebra test, and so you know how it is, man. You're not really praying, you're not really saved, you're just trying to make it through life, you're just trying to pass a math test.
Right.
So I remember, man, back in the day that I knew where the math tests were. And at school, because Mom, I know, you know where this is going, because Mom would grade tests, and so I'd go in there on my breaks, just kind of say, "Hey, Mom, kind of see where the tests were." Anyway, so I found out where the test was, and so I just had this ideal, bad idea. Students, do not take this. Thank God that the school year is out, and you'll forget about it by fall. But I go upstairs, Brother Chad, and I find the test, and I put it in my book bag. And I was telling Mom that I'll probably never forget. I was telling Mom, I was like, I go upstairs. I've got to score. I hope I'm not giving anybody bad advice. It's not advice. I'm telling you what not to do. And so, anyway, I put it in my book bag, Brother Chad.
Little disclaimer: defining the dash does not condone the actions by the former Mark Mullins.
Exactly. Anyway, so I put it in my book bag, and on the way home, when we get in the vehicle, you could tell there was something wrong with the atmosphere. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
so we wasn't really rocking out to King Mountain Brothers going home. You know, nobody's really talking. Very quiet ride. You know, y'all probably know what I'm talking about, the quiet rides. And so we get to the house, and Mom says, I don't want anybody to take anything in the house. I want you to leave your book bags. I want you to leave your Bibles. I want you to leave everything. I thought, oh man, she sniffed something out. And this thing don't even have a scent. And she sniffed it out. You know what I mean? And so, but anyway, 2 minutes later, man, she comes in my room and looking at my mom. And I felt bad on the inside, and I felt bad on the outside too. You know, with the belt.
It matched real soon.
But I said all that to say this, man, that you know that Mom had an intuition that was unlike anything else I've ever seen. And
to your mother, knowing your mother, her hurt, probably was really at a higher level than what her anger was.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure her anger was pretty high too.
Oh, it was,
yeah. But you know, her hurt level was, you know, I'm sure she was hurt and disappointed. Even more than angry.
The disappointment, I think, was what really got me. You know, but what I understood more then that Mom loved me more than just a math test.
Right.
You know, she just wanted me to be a good guy and grow up and love the Lord, that kind of thing. But, you know, just going on early on, man, you know, I'd hate it for every other guy in the entire world and every other girl to know that their mother is second place to my mom. But there has to be a number one mom. Yeah. That has to be mine. So
there has to be,
No, I'm just kidding. Everybody should feel that way.
Everyone should feel that way.
I don't even know why I told you that story. But, you know, but that's one of them stories, man, that you just...
Your mom always made good tea.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, good lemonade and everything. And, And your mother was always special to me. She was like a second mother to me. And, you know, me and your brother grew up real close. I mean, you and your sisters, I watched y'all grow up. Y'all were like my own siblings. Mm-hmm. You know, my kids still call your dad Uncle Benny and everything. And just your family's always been special to us. And
still waiting on Christmas gifts.
Still waiting. Told you I'm late.
Here's a typical man.
My wife probably has it on her list of things.
Oh
to do,
yeah, probably.
And I haven't seen
always
the
that
list.
You know? Oh, you'll see it.
And so, but she, you know, we've said before when me and your brother were graduating school and stuff, it was your, you know, dad was working and mom was busy and stuff. It was your parents that took us around to visit colleges. You know, I know we went to Emory and Henry, we went to Pikeville and stuff, and toured colleges together. It was your parents. I can remember riding that big burgundy truck that y'all had, the camper top on it and everything that we rode to Pikeville and, you know, and Emory and Henry. And, you know, that was a nervous and a big time, you know, for like me and your brother and everything. But I remember them just making it a good time, you know, and I didn't feel like I was imposing or taking anything away from y'all. They made me feel welcome and everything. And every time I've ever been around your mom, regardless of what she was going through, she always had a smile. I mean, whenever you would speak to her, she'd just always smile. And man, that melts your heart no matter what the situation. And she's just a special lady. She really is. Another lady that in my life that I want to give honor and tribute to, which I did mention a little bit earlier, is my wife, my wonderful wife. Of course, she's blessed me with 4 great children, and she's dedicated her life to taking care of them and to me, and to taking care of me, which is probably harder than taking care of those 4 kids.
Yeah, probably.
And you don't have to be so agreeable all the time, Brother Mark.
Sorry.
And but now we've not got to be together in a while, so I guess there are some jabs that we're doing for each other. But she, you know, she's dedicated her life to her children and to her family, and her making our house a home, and she's taught preschool and kindergarten, and teaches Sunday school, and she's active with the youth in the church. I mean, she's her life to me. I was thinking this evening when I was trying to jot some notes down about this episode, and I think there's maybe a Jeff and Sherry Easter song out there that if I could think of a phrase that defines my wife, would be that phrase, she loves. And she loves with her whole heart, and I truly believe that. And so I'm thankful for my wife today. I really am, God gave me a good wife.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know, I got a good wife too. Probably the best wife in the world. Sorry, you can have a second. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, listen, you done took first place on the mom.
Oh,
now you're trying to steal first place on the wife.
Well,
we're gonna have to like arm wrestle.
Let's not do that, man. We'll agree to disagree.
We got Katie here in the green room. I'll let her take you down. How's that?
Oh man, she can do it. Man, I tell you, my wife is awesome. The Lord's blessed me too, just like He's blessed you. And,
yes, sir.
And her selflessness, man, of taking care of children.
Did you say selfishness?
No. I had to concentrate on that word.
Sister Jen, I believe he just told the world you were self. She might be number one, but you're not.
Oh, this is awkward. Cut that.
Editor.
But man, you know, a woman, you know, like our wives, that will give selflessly over.
I told you, Sister
and over and over again. You know, and you can see that, and I'm thinking about it right now. You know, I had a baby that's got some GI issues, and they're resolving, which is awesome. And hanging out for about 2 weeks, probably TMI for a lot of the listeners. But you know, at nighttime, we have a camera system that watches the baby, and it's got audio and visual on it. And so if the baby quits breathing or something, not like I won't hear the baby quit breathing, but Jen might hear the baby breathing. But I don't know how many times, Brother Chad, that we have babies in our home, and nighttime, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, can we just turn the monitor off with them crying? Babies have lived for thousands of years without a monitor. That's my take as a guy. Like they're probably not going to die in their sleep. They might. SIDS is a real thing, but there's a better chance they're not going to. But Jen, there was one night that I remember that she was willing to even get, because the baby was just fussy, but she was willing to even get out of bed, go sleep on the couch, so that she could listen to the baby. If the baby needed her. You know what I'm talking about? And so, you're just talking about quality moms, and man, when you've got a quality wife and a quality mom that would rather make sure a baby is sleeping than actually sleep themselves, I think that says a lot about a person.
It does. That shows the care they have for others. And
so high five, Jen. I ain't got her flowers yet for Mother's Day. Want to surprise her. I did get her a card, and she told me not to get flowers, so I want to surprise her one of these days. On a day that's not Mother's Day, very soon. But don't tell her. But it'll probably be the next couple weeks.
It's a good thing our wives don't listen to these episodes.
Exactly. Nobody takes Jen.
Well, think about it. If we all bought flowers for our wives on Mother's Day, it would be no surprise.
True that.
But if we just come home one day and boom, there's flowers.
Yep.
Surprise.
It reminds me of when we got engaged, me and Jen. So she told me for a while that she did not want to get engaged on Christmas because everybody gets engaged for Christmas. As far as that goes. Sure. I was like, yeah, I see that. I can see that. I said, well, I can't remember if it was more that I forgot about that.
Oh my!
No, I'm just kidding. Which it may be a real possibility. I may have forgotten it. But the story I go with though is this. No, I'm just kidding. So, but I proposed to Jen on Christmas, and I did that because she wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, the twist on that, So if they're expecting something, then wait a day or two. If they're not expecting, that's a good time to do it.
Yeah, I surprised my wife too with an engagement.
I'm surprised both of them said yes.
That's the surprise we got.
I'm still surprised. Thankful but surprised.
Okay, here's another good Christian character trait they had. Think of the regrets they have, and they still wake up every day and keep going.
Exactly.
They're like, really, one yes changed my life. So,
I'm going to quit talking.
They went mute from that day forward. But when my wife and I were dating, I had big plans, man. I was going to rent a horse and buggy. And take her out on a horse and buggy ride somewhere, and I was going to have flowers and just do all these immaculate things and just make it such a great special moment and ask her to marry me.
You should do that again sometime.
I told a friend of ours about it, and he used that idea.
Oh.
And so,
is that really a friend?
Then, yeah, I'm apparently his friend because it worked out for him too. But yeah, so I told somebody else, and they happened to use that idea. So then I was like, man, I can't do that. So we were singing at a funeral home one night, and I asked her dad for his blessing after we sung that night. I wasn't about to ask him beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And so after we sung at the funeral home that night, I asked him for his blessing. Of course, he gave it. And so that night on the way home, I was like, man, I can't wait to plan something. I've got to do this now. I was like, is it?
So, might change her mind.
So guess what? My wife's great surprise was we were driving up the road in front of Wendy's, and I'm like, so remember that question you said I'd never ask your dad?
Yeah, that is awesome.
And, so I asked her to marry me, and she's like, "You ain't asked my dad yet." And I was like, "Oh, yes, I have."
Ask him.
Yeah,
call him right now.
Yeah. So yeah, her surprise engagement or proposal was while we were still going up the road right in front of Wendy's there.
Nice.
So
you know what?
I'm kind of embarrassed by it, because.
But you still got a yes.
But once he gave me the approval, man, it was just something inside me. I was like, I've got to do this like now.
Oh yeah.
And my idea has been used up, and it's not like we live in an area where we could really do a lot of grand gestures.
But we do have a couple Wendy's.
We do have a Wendy's that we can drive by. And as much as we eat at Wendy's, maybe every time she goes, she'll be like, we were driving by here when the greatest decision of my life was made.
Oh yeah.
And it might be that she's
chicken
really yeah. She might have thought I was asking her if she wanted like a combo or something. And she was like, awesome. Yes, that'll be great.
That is awesome.
And I'm like, oh yes, she said she'd marry me.
I think of that. I recorded it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Man, the night we got married, or not married, the night we got engaged, we was at Jen's mom's place and parents' house, and I had this little thing figured out. I was going to record it. Because how sentimental would that be, right?
Yeah. Go back and listen to it again later.
So I lined up the camera real nice, man. I had a perfect angle, and I already told her, I was like, "You might want to fix your hair, kind of stuff." How do you tell a woman you're about to get engaged without telling her you're about to get engaged?
Right.
Anyway, so she comes down, her hair's kind of fixed and stuff, and everything's going good so far. Well, I forgot to push the record button.
No.
She still said yes, and she didn't take it back. But her hair looked really nice. And so,
she's like, "How can I marry this loser? He can't even work a camera."
Exactly. Well, I still can't work a camera, but she loves me anyway. So I think
that just adds another great thing. These women love us even with their flaws.
Yep. Yeah, I keep them around, man.
That's right. They definitely deserve honor in regards to all of that. And we can go on and on about our mothers and other ladies that have really blessed us and give us godly guidance and things through our lives. We've had Sunday school teachers. Sister Geraldine was wonderful. Sister Mildred Matney, man, was such a blessing in my life. As and her and Sister Geraldine both were like godly grandmothers. I used to get to go to their house, and Sister Geraldine and Brother Zane were like my grandparents at church, and Sister Mildred and Brother Hermie, they were like grandparents, and I would spend the night with them to their grandson Keith, and we would stay there, and Brother Hermie would take us fishing, and Sister Mildred would cook for us, and she treated me just like I was family. And Sister Carla Hilton has always been great, and Sister, we call her Granny Webb, but Sister Bernadine Webb, that's gone on to glory, and Sister Marilyn Richardson, all these ladies that are great women of God that have blessed our lives and encouraged us throughout the years. Mm-hmm. If you know somebody, or if you have your mother that's really been a blessing to you and has loved you and took care of you and just encouraged you, give honor to your mother. If there's somebody else that's like we said, these ladies in our church that have just been there for us and have helped instruct us and guide us throughout the years, encourage us. Granny Webb always, even, with the battles there at the end that she battled with her mind, whenever I would get up on Sunday morning, she would always come up to me afterwards and say, you've done so good. You keep doing what you're doing. I enjoy it so much. And, just and encouraged me.
Mm-hmm.
Even, there was times that the family said she probably didn't even know who I was.
Yep.
But just the fact that she still would come over and try to encourage me and stuff, and it showed her heart,
Oh, yeah.
The mind may not have been there, but the heart still was.
Oh, sure.
And that just, it impresses me so and touches me. And so just give honor to these ladies. I believe God would be pleased with that.
No doubt.
And, well, Brother Mark, that's all I've got. You got anything more to add?
Yeah, I think that's all got. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. God bless you. Let's keep on making it count. Until next week, y'all have a great one.
When I win this war, I've got a church and a family.